How's it going, guys? Mike D'Amico here. We're going to go over some good and bad sources of protein today, okay? So protein is essentially an accumulation of amino acids that are the building blocks to what make us who we are, okay? So skin, hair, toenails, bone, muscle, they're all made of amino acids. Again, and depending on what we're trying to appeal to, we want to have a diet that appeals to that. Okay, so most people's diet is going to appeal to the lean muscle tissue that we're trying to build. Okay, so even that 90-year-old woman who's strength training has the same exact goal of building lean muscle mass, whether she realizes or not, as the 21-year-old trying to look good for spring break. Okay, so you want to have it so your muscle breakdown is less than your protein synthesis, okay? Now, in order to maximize protein synthesis, you have to have times of muscle breakdown, okay? But the key is that you want to have it be more protein synthesis than muscle breakdown over time. Okay, and the choices of protein we make will have a huge impact on that. Okay, so some good sources of protein, a good rule of thumb: eggs, meat, dairy. Those are all going to be great source of protein by default because you're eating a once live animal that had all of very similar amino acids that we as humans need as well. So a good rule of thumb is anything that's going to come from an animal is going to be a good source of protein, okay? So any lean cut of meat or a leaner ground meat of some sort will be a good option for you, okay? If you can get a protein that's going to have less fat with it, you won't really have to get that huge calorie bomb, which can limit your fat loss if that's also a goal of yours. Okay, so if you are plant-based, there are plant-based options out there. Probably one of the best sources is going to be soy, also quinoa, and plus a combination, which is over here actually in the bad sources, is beans, but beans and rice. You combine beans and rice together, it makes a complete protein that our bodies can use to build and repair muscle tissue. Now, a complete protein contains all those amino acids to provide that. Now, an incomplete protein will be a protein that is missing several essential amino acids that our bodies can't produce, so it's going to not help in building and repairing muscle tissue on its own. Okay? So, on that note, some bad sources of protein, okay? So, some bad sources, we see it all the time. Things like nuts, peanuts, any kind of nut butter, or wheat product is not going to be a good source of protein. You hear a lot of individuals who say, oh, I had peanut butter, so I had my protein. Peanut butter only contains about 8 grams of protein per serving. So unless you plan on having protein at every single meal, first off, you're going to get an immense amount of fat to go with that. And although it's good fat, too much of it will still accumulate into limiting your ability to lose fat. And also, it's an incomplete protein, so it won't actually be able to act on building and repairing lean muscle mass like you may want it to. Okay, so these are all going to be great sources for your carbohydrates and your healthy fats, but they are unfortunately lacking in regards to what we'd want for a complete protein source to allow us to build and repair lean muscle mass so we can continue to do all the activities we want to do for a long period of time. Okay, so rule of thumb, always go for the lean source of protein. If you are not a plant-based eater, your life is going to be a little more convenient because you can just go for these lean cuts of meat and you'll be good. Okay? So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. I will leave it in the description box below. Thank you for watching.